The voice from beyond, Andrew. Love it. Three, two, and one. Mr. Garfield, I was blown away by your performance in Tick Tick Boom. I loved it. I loved everything about this film. My wife, who's a harsh critic at times, loved the film as well. What's her favorite of the year? One of my favorite of the year. So congratulations.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's so exciting. Thank you.
So we'll just start with this. What was the most daunting part of this task? Taking on this portrayal of Jonathan Larson, a genius, being in a number with all these Broadway luminaries such as Patti LuPone and the Schuyler sisters, for example, or answering Marvel questions?
Yes, all of it is quite daunting. It was one of those ones with Lynn where I knew he was going to make something amazing even before I knew what he wanted to make. I was like, oh, if Lynn wants to make something, I know it's going to be full of heart. It's going to be incredibly ambitious, emotional, funny, and I'm going to have to figure out how to sing. So I think the most daunting thing was figuring out if I could reach vocally where I needed to reach for John's songs to, you know, reach the back row of the galaxy as how he designed them and how he sung them himself with all of his passion and soul and every cell of his being. And then, there's the terrible, great, amazing responsibility of honoring John Larson and honoring his life, especially in this period of time, which is, such an incredible beacon for people, young artists, because it's not a story about success. This is a story about failure. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are connecting with it in a very personal way, is because it's universal in terms of how, it's a initiatory experience that anyone who is looking to live their lives fully has to go through in order to find out whether or not we're cut out to live our lives in this way. And that's what John goes through. And I think it's like an inspirational kind of template for young artists for sure, but also just anyone really who has a dream.
What stood out to me in your performance is that it was almost as if I was watching like Larson alive again on screen, and it was almost as if like you had this familial connection with him, like you may have been related. That's how deep you have this performance down. Did you feel that type of connection even when you went after some of these most daunting numbers that Larson put together? And while we're at it, what was the most daunting number that you had to undertake?
Well, thank you for saying that firstly, and I do feel that way. It's a strange thing to say, but I do feel this kindred kind of familial connection, a deep kind of bone connection with John, an ancestral kind of feeling, which again is again just a testament to Lynn for casting me really and for asking me to do it, because he saw it before anyone else did, and I just came to realize it as we shot. I was like, oh, as I started to dive into who Jonathan was, I felt this deep thing wake up in me. But also, I wanted his spirit to come through. I wanted to be the channel for him to have more life, really, to follow his impulses through my body, my voice, and my instrument in that way. And I was just so happy to wake up every morning and devote myself to John and John's spirit. So it was a spiritual experience in that way. So, and then in terms of the numbers, and in terms of, I think that they all had their own specific challenges. Like 3090 is a runaway train that you have to somehow be in control of and breathe during, where there's nowhere to breathe. And then, Johnny Can't Decide is this very, very tender, soft, sweet, kind of quiet interior. How do you express that interiority in a vivid way and in a sensitive way? And then of course you have Sunday, which I had to just avoid looking anyone in the eye, because I was going to turn into Mike Myers in Wayne's World, and just saying I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, and fall to my knees. But then a really challenging one, and then Boho Days, which was just a fun live romp, spontaneous thing. I think the main challenge was Why, which I sing in the Delacorte solo at the piano, because it's the most vitally important emotional crux moment of John's journey in the film. And the song had to feel like I was making it up on the spot. And therefore, it was really important to me that I sung it live and that they used me singing it live in the final cut, which they did. But the build up to that and the pressure of meeting that moment in the middle of Central Park in the middle of the night with John's sister Julie Larson at the monitors, waiting to see what would happen. It was a really profound, beautiful night, but obviously full of, trepidation.
Not at all nerve-wracking at all to have his sister literally a couple of feet away, Andrew. I can't imagine being in that position, but you nailed it. The movie is a dream. I've watched it many times. Your performance deserves all the accolades in the world. I have out of time. I wish I could spend 20 more minutes with you, but thank you for giving us this moment to discuss one of the best films of the year, Tick, Tick, Boom.
Oh man, thank you, Dewey. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.